Hello legends, in this video I'm going to show you how to build a chatbot for your website that can create emails for you so that customers that want to escalate their interaction and actually speak with a human have a way to do so. It's also going to be able to plug into a RAG database, so if you have a bunch of FAQs preloaded and you want to plug them into a RAG system, it's going to do that as well. So actually these two nodes are probably the most interesting for this video. We're just using Perplexity API calls. We're restricting the searches to your specific website domain. So instead of building a RAG database, you can just directly plug into your website. And if a customer asks questions about your products or customer support or whatever, we're just using these basic API calls, and yeah, no database required. But anyway, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to generate emails, do a RAG database, or just search your website directly. And then the finished product is gonna look like this. It's gonna be a little chat widget that's gonna be on your actual website. I'm gonna show you how to customize this message and the very first message that your customer would see when they're interacting. So you can like actually personalize it for your website. And then you can engage with it and say, "Hi, what products do you offer?" And this is actually going to be using the Perplexity API call to my sales page, and it's going to pull out what products we offer. I've got it plugged into julka.com, which is my e-commerce store. And you can see here, we've actually got a list of products that we offer, as well as a hyperlink to the actual product that it's speaking about. So yeah, in this case, I don't have the web widget enabled on my sales page. This is just a demo, but you can click into all these different products. And let's say, for example, I say, my hot tap is not working. How do I fix it? So two very common use cases: general support, FAQ questions, so like pre-purchase, and then post-purchase questions. My hot tap's not working. What's the troubleshooting process for this? And once again, we've got the troubleshooting process listed here. And this is just using the Perplexity API calls. I didn't create a RAG database for this, but this is super rich of info. And then I'm using a RAG database just to do generic generic business information. So let's say, what's Julka's contact number? So I uploaded an actual document into the pinecone assistant, which is the pinecone RAG pipeline. And then I have some information here. So this is just fake information anyway, but you can see we've got a variety of different sources. We're listing the products with the URLs for our sales page. We've got troubleshooting information on a separate page. That's what Julka does. You have a separate sales page and a separate support page. Maybe on your website, you just have like an FAQ, like a customer support FAQ section. So you can just take that URL and then plug it into the system. So you restrict the searches just for that. But you can see it's pretty cool. And now let's just say my hot tap is still not working. Please email customer support. And now the agent's going to take this request and they're going to create an email that's going to be sent to my email inbox. And there we go. This is the email. This is the subject of the email is just new support request. So it's easy for us to spot this amongst our other emails. And then we have the actual body of the email. So it's not formatted super well, but this gives you an idea of, okay, if there's a customer and they're having a chat experience on your website, like you don't just want to leave them to have a bad experience if they actually do need genuine help. So now you have a route to actually escalate and then get in touch with a human as well. All right, and now I'm going to ask the exact same questions within n8n, just so you can see the routes that it takes. I'm going to open up the chat over here. Let me just zoom out so we can actually see everything. And I'm going to say, "Hi, what products do you offer?" And now we're going to see the chat conversation is being had. We've got the product info over here, which again is just going to my julka.com website. And now we have our responses for products that we sell. Now I'm going to say, "My hot tap is not working. How do I fix it?" And this is going to take this route over here. Perfect. And that's going directly to my support webpage where it has all my product information, my technical troubleshooting information. So we have all the information over here. We can also visit the Julka support page, which is linked over here. That's super neat. I mean, like having this URLs provided in the chat conversation is really good because maybe the customer just needs a hand to get to the right location to find the information. And oftentimes people just use the chatbot as like a routing tool, like, you've got 20 pages of products, like, hey, I want to buy a product that's going to help me with X, Y, and Z, and it'll just link that product as well. And that's sometimes all the customer needs. And now I'm just going to ask a general question like, what's Julka's customer support number? And now we're going to be taking the pinecone route. And that's because I've uploaded just a template document that just says, here's the contact information. Here's where you can like the address to actually visit, the opening hours, stuff like that. And we have some information over here. And then finally, I'm going to say, hey, can you just raise that request via email? I still have a problem. Can you please get a human to contact me? I'm going to send this. And then we should be going straight to this email module over here. Now, as you saw before, like I don't really have any specific information from customers. Like maybe you want to have a little process where you're saying, cool, we can contact you. What's your email address? What's your phone number? What's your name? And then we actually create that email. Otherwise, there actually is no information here. So all that is possible. It just depends on what you want to do. And then within the agent, we've got a very basic set of instructions here. I would typically just take this as a starting point, plug it into ChatGPT and say, hey, here is, create me a prompt for this agent. It's a website support agent. I would actually upload the URL to your website and say, this is the website that we have. Generate a context from this website. And I might just say, Julka does portable outdoor showers and toilets. This is the actual context of the company. So people then the system's going to know that, all right, when people are speaking to us, they're speaking about portable showers, portable toilets, accessories for those like outdoor hygiene products. It just gives it more context for the actual agent. And then, from here, you might just say, cool, whenever the customer asks to be escalated to a human, use this tool to raise a new ticket, but your first step is collect the customer's name and number or whatever information you need. And then the agent will actually dynamically say, okay, cool, before I raise that email, can you please give me your personal contact information so that I can include it in the email, and we'll give you a call next business day or something like that. All right, and that was the overview of all the different flows. Now I'm actually going to go and build this out from scratch so you guys can actually follow along with me. All right, guys, just quickly, I have a waitlist for an AI community that I'm going to be building. At a high level, these are the things that I'm going to be offering. So like weekly calls, behind the scenes of my n8n make.com builds, any custom coded stuff that I do, any other interesting things that I work on. I'm actually running this community with my brother, Chris, who has run a lead gen agency. He also set up julka.com's full sales and marketing pipelines in the team. So he's very experienced with sales and marketing. I'm very good with AI and automation. So together, I think we have a unique blend of an offering. And then the starting price is going to be at $55. So if you fill out the questions below, it's basically your name, your email, and then some information about like how long have you been following my channel, what do you enjoy the most, and then what's a must-have in a community that'll make it worth the money for you. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get back into the video. All right, so we have a blank canvas over here. Now the first thing I want to do is just double click on this empty box, and I want to look for on-chat message. On-chat message is the node that we need in order to trigger a chat request from our website. So zooming into here, the first thing we need to do is just flick this over to make chat publicly available. And that's going to give us some configuration that we can later use when we're embedding this into our website. So we're going to leave this URL for now, but we're going to need that. It's important. And then we're going to go to this mode setting, drop it down and just click on embedded chat. Now, embedded chat means that, okay, we can actually embed this into the HTML of our website. And that's everything that we need to do over here. So I'm going to zoom back out. Now, the next thing I want to look at doing is just introducing that AI agent. So I'm going to go to advanced AI. Let's just click on AI agent. And now we have the basic infrastructure for actually creating the conversation. And now we can actually just plug in various tools that we need to complete those different tasks. All right, so now at this stage, we've got to do a couple different things. The first is we actually need to install the chat model, which is just the brain for the AI agent. Then we need to install some memory so that as the customer sends us more and more messages, we actually have context of the overall conversation. And then we need to install the different tools like sending a Gmail or querying the RAG database. Let's start by going to chat model. And we're going to be choosing OpenAI chat model. All right, so now there's a couple of things for us to do. If this is your first time using OpenAI in n8n, you'll actually have to configure your credentials. So just so you know, when you're using ChatGPT, even if you're paying for ChatGPT Plus, this is different. So you'll have to go to platform.openai.com. I'm going to link that in the description of this video, but that's basically developer access into the ChatGPT tool. It lets you create an API key and then basically use ChatGPT and deploy it into different systems like this. So even if you're using ChatGPT Plus, platform.openai.com is still owned by OpenAI, same owners, just a different account that you will have to pay for as well. So to create this account, you will be prompted to actually create new credentials. You can follow these instructions in this open doc section here, but essentially after you create an account on platform.openai.com, you can generate yourself an API key, go to your settings tab, find your organization ID and paste it into here. And then your base URL is fine. You can just leave it like this. So this is going to be super easy for you to do. Just follow these instructions. And now we have the option to choose our model. You can use GPT-4o mini. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty fast. You probably want to use the 4o mini version for your live chat just because it's a bit faster. But for pretty much all of my other non-live chat applications, I just use GPT-4o. But in this case, the default is 4o mini and I would just leave it as that. You'll have this warning sign for now, but until you just move your node a little bit and it disappears. So everything's connected. And actually at this stage, you can just go ahead and try this out. So hi there. If I write hi there, we're going to be using the actual, the brain, so the LLM brain from OpenAI. And our response is, hello, how can I assist you today? So we already have some functionality in our agent. We can go ahead and deploy it like this, but it doesn't actually have any personalized information or personalized processes based on what we want it to achieve on our website. So the next thing we need to do is install memory. I'm going to link a separate video in the description of this video where I actually show you how to install this memory. It's super easy. I think that video is like 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to bypass the instructions here just to keep things short. But we're going to be using Postgres chat memory. Now, Postgres chat memory, all this is basically, it's a table that's going to hold the actual conversation for your agent. So every time a message comes into here, the message actually includes a session ID. So if I double click on this, you can see that I just wrote hi there into that little window to get the response from the agent. But in the payload, so in the actual packet of information that's created in that first node, there's a session ID variable. This is already handled in the backend by n8n, and it's completely custom to that one session. So if your customer goes onto your website and they open up a chat widget, there is a unique session ID variable for them, and it persists for that entire chat conversation. So then when we actually add this information into the database, which is that Postgres database, we have the ability to basically say, oh, for this chat session, the user said this, then the agent replied, then the user said this, and the agent replied, and we have the chat conversation, again, just denoted by this session ID. So there's nothing for us to do in terms of that session ID in that other video that I link. It's all taken care of in here automatically. And then the agent knows what to do to basically access that information as well. So it's super, super easy, nothing for us to do here. So at this stage, we have the actual brain for the AI, and we have the memory for the AI. And now we want some tools to be integrated as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is go across and I want to search up Gmail. Whoops, I'm just going to search up Gmail. I've got my Gmail tool. Now you're going to have to authenticate your Gmail as well. If this is your first time authenticating, just go down to create a new credential. There's a lot of different videos on here about how to do this. I will link one in the description of this video. It probably takes about 5 minutes anyway. And yeah, all you need to do is create a client ID and a client secret. But yeah, about 5 minutes and then you're done. So I'm going to go to close. Okay, and now to actually configure this, what we're looking to do is send this email always to one specific endpoint. So if you've got a customer support team, actually at this stage, if you're using a ticketing tool like Zendesk, you can just send a new ticket to Zendesk directly. You don't have to use Gmail. You can just, instead of searching Gmail, just search Zendesk, and then you just have to link up your account. Once again, just plug in your API key and authenticate it. But in this example, we're just using Gmail. And what you want to do here is just have your, maybe have your personal email account, depends how big your team is, but I'm just going to use bart@supportlaunchpad.com. So every time this tool is triggered by the AI agent, it's always going to go to me. And now I'm the escalation point. So for the subject, I'm just going to make it static as well. I'm just going to say new support request. And you can make this as descriptive as possible, like whatever you need for yourself. If your inbox is super, super full, maybe you say from n8n website chat. And then every time you get a new ticket that's created in your inbox, it's always going to have this. And then eventually you just become aware of this, or you can create various other automation as well. Like you can create a separate n8n agent that basically looks for new emails into your account that have this ticket subject. And then you can run a whole other process if you want. So you can really automate the automation itself. But for now, that's all we're doing. And then for this message variable, this is the actual body of the message that the agent's going to be creating. We're going to go ahead and click on this button here. And this button, as you can see, it just lets the model define the parameters. So we're just going to click this. And now this means that when the agent looks for this tool and goes to trigger this tool, we're going to be using the LLM, so OpenAI GPT-4o Mini in this case, to just create the body for us. So that means that we can dynamically, as a customer, say, hey, my hot tap's not working, blah, blah, blah. And then in our prompt, we can say, hey, in the body of the email that you send, make sure you include the ticket history so that the person that is on the receiving end of this email knows what's going on. So that can all be done with just with the prompt. And then dynamically, the ticket history or whatever other information you want to collect will be taken care of by the AI model. So this is super easy, like very, very quick, very easy to set up. As you can see, like once it's authenticated, it's just literally one setting, two setting, and then let the AI do the rest of this. So I'm going to click out of this and let's actually test this specific tool right now. We have no prompts, but it should still work. Please send an email so I can be contacted. Now this should actually trigger off the Gmail module. Okay, it didn't actually do this. Okay, cool. So now the AI itself actually recognized that, all right, we need some more information to send this off. I'm just going to try and bypass that. So I'm going to go to add option, system message. Now let's zoom into here and just start building some kind of profile for this agent. Typically, I would just go into ChatGPT and actually create this prompt from scratch, but I'm just going to do the baseline prompt. This is my actual process when I'm first creating prompts. And then you can go into ChatGPT and say, hey, you're an expert prompt creator. Here's the role prompt that I need to do. Please create the prompt for me in a more systematic or in a structured way. So for now, we're just going to say, you are a website support agent. You have a number of tools at your disposal. So the first tool is, I'm just going to call this send email tool. And before we write some more here, just so we're consistent, I'm going to get this tool name and just call it send email. So I'm going to double click into this. Then up here, I'm just going to double click on Gmail and I'm going to say send email. And now we're referencing the send email tool directly from our agent. So now it's called send email. So let's go back into our agent and now let's just zoom into here. Send email. use this tool to send an email to the customer support team. Okay, so maybe we'll actually still have to prompt it up so we know what information to collect. But for now, let's just try it again. Please send an email to human support to contact me. And let's see if we actually use the tool this time. Awesome, so we used the tool this time. We kind of bypassed these really important instructions. Like we should have actually given our name and some other stuff, but this is just so you can see how the process works. And here is that email. So we have new support request from the n8n website chatbot. This is that very long custom ticket subject or email subject that we just built out. And then we have the actual subject itself. And then, I would like to request to be contacted regarding my account. So you can do a lot more customization for this. I'll let you guys play around with that. But this little bit here, sometimes you don't want this. If you're doing outbound emails to customers, you might just want to remove this completely. So to remove that, we're just going to go into this Gmail module. We're just going to click on add option. We're going to find append n8n attribution, and we're going to get this and just say no. Now when we send the email, that little line on the bottom is not going to be there. But let's just keep going forward and look at the different tools that we want to use. So the next tool we want to get is going to be a RAG request. So we're going to be using Pinecone, and Pinecone is a really good database. It gives you access via API to a RAG agent. Very simple way. They've got a very simple interface. We can just upload all of your documents. It manages the entire backend pipeline of actually creating that into a RAG database, like a vector database. And with just one API call, after you upload your documents, you can query that database and get a response back. Super, super easy. Also highly accurate. It doesn't really hallucinate. If it doesn't know the answer, if it just doesn't know, it will tell you, sorry, the question you're asking, I don't have that information, so I can't tell you that. So I'm just going to say, use this tool to query general business FAQs or FAQ questions, frequently asked questions. Yep, it is what it is. And then we'll be building out the actual API call here. So to build out this API call, I've just gone ahead and logged into my Pinecone account. So if you don't have an account already, you can just create one. And what we want to do is actually create an assistant. I've got a couple of assistants over here, but I want to be creating a brand new one. So when you create an assistant, you actually give yourself the ability to upload a database into this assistant and then query this assistant directly so you can get the RAG ready responses in a super, super easy way. So I'm going to call this Bart demo. Now we have to remember this name because it's going to be part of our API call, but let's create the assistant. And now on the right-hand side, we've got a very easy way to just drag and drop files into here. So I have this basic FAQ sheet, which includes some made up customer service hours, some warehouse contact information, and some other stuff over here. And I'm just going to be uploading this directly into this database panel over there. All right, boom, just dropping it in. Let's import that. And when that finishes importing, probably will take us 10-20 seconds to import. We can just start querying over here and just testing our responses. So I'm going to go, what are Julka's open hours? Let's hit enter, and now we're going to be getting a response. I'll just zoom in to make it easy. Julka's customer support hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's exactly what we had in our uploaded database. So this is a very simple way to upload a RAG ready database. If you already have the questions and answers here, you can just plonk them directly into here, and you can have heaps and heaps of files, PDFs, text documents, whatever. And this is actually a really good solution, so I recommend doing this. Now, the next thing we need to do is actually start building out that API call so we can actually contact this agent. So I went to Docs, and now I actually want to flick over to Pinecone Assistant. And now this is the API call we want to make to actually interact with that database that we just created. So I'm going to go to Chat with an Assistant, Standard Interface. Then I'm going to scroll down, and over here is the actual setting that I need for the API. So we have the actual HTTP endpoint. So this is just the URL of where the API call is going to go. I'm going to copy this entire thing. Back in n8n, I'm just going to quickly change this to post because we're sending this request across to our API. I'm going to hit Control V. And now for this part where it says assistant name, I just need to backspace this. And what I had before in my Pinecone database is that I called this assistant Bart-demo, and that's what I need to put into here. So I'm gonna go Bart-demo, and now we're just targeting that specific assistant that has that file uploaded. Now I'm gonna keep scrolling down, and I wanna add some headers into here. So let's go add header. Back in the API call, we've got 3 headers to create. We have the API key, so this is how we actually authenticate ourselves. We have the content type, and then we have X Pinecone API. So we need to add all of these. So I'm going to start copy and pasting these. All right, so we have this. I'm just going to leave that like that for now. I'm going to add a new parameter. Now we have content type. I'm going to paste this into here. And then our final one is X Pinecone API version. Control C that. Let's go down and paste it into here. All right, zooming out to make it a little bit easier for us to move around. Whoop, there we go, fully zoomed out. So now we just need to take this and just go define using the field below. Back in pinecone, let's go across and hit this API keys. Let's go and create a new API key. And I'm just going to call this Bart-demo, create the key. Now let's copy this key and close this. And back in n8n, let's just paste this, there we go, and paste this key into here. And let's see, for the API key, it's just a direct placement. So that's, we're done there. So for content type, let's take this, back in n8n. So our content type, what we put in before, we're just gonna go using field below, paste that in, and now back in that API, for our X pinecone API version, we're just gonna be copying this. Now back in n8n, using field below, and then paste it into here. Awesome. And now to create our actual body, we just need to copy this. So the D is just the data, which represents what's the body of the API call that we're sending. We're just going to copy exactly as it is there. Go back into n8n, scroll down, and now we have this parameter over here, which is send body. We're just going to click yes, send body, and we're going to go using JSON below. So now let's just scroll out, and we're just pasting that exact thing that we just saw. This is the format. You can pause it here and see, but we need these to be at the start and the end. And what we're looking at here is just the model that we're using. Again, what's the brain of the API call? So it's going to be GPT-4o. We're not streaming because we can't actually stream, which just means it's going to be a live response. Well, actually, streaming means that we're not waiting for the entire response to be generated before we send it. We're just sending it while it's being generated. We can't do that within n8n just yet. And over here, I'm just going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call this rag question, and then close these squiggly brackets. So now rag question is basically a dynamic variable that we're going to be using. Let me just scroll down into here. We're going to create a new placeholder definition. So now that we have that, we have the ability to get the AI to generate that question for us without us having to actually generate it ourselves. So the question to ask the rag agent. So the description is just enough for the AI to understand, okay, well, this is just the question we're going to be asking. We have to dynamically enter it into this space here. And that's how we customize this API call to actually just send a request, but actually have a specific question in that request as well. So that's everything we need to do. We're just going to be going back up to here and changing this to rag question. Let's save this. Now let's go back into our AI agent, double click it, and we've just added a new tool. So now the second tool we have is called rag question, I think it was. And use this tool, tool to for general business, FAQ questions. All right, awesome. So now let's zoom out and actually give this a go. So let's say, what are Julka's opening hours? And we should be able to trigger this. There we go, rag question, because we've specifically defined, use this for general business FAQs. And our question will come back and say, all right, for the customer service, the hours are, and the warehouse and shipping, this is the hours. So we're doing good, guys. We're actually moving along at a good pace. Now, the next thing we want to do is actually get the Perplexity API. So if you don't want to create your own database, because sometimes it actually is difficult, if you've got a massive website and you're just like, couldn't I just plug the AI into the website directly? Yes, you can. So let's actually figure out how to do that now. So we're going to be doing another HTTP API call. And for this, let's just start by saying, use this tool for questions about products and product specs. So you just customize this to whatever your website, like if you got just services, so maybe for like, you would just say, use this tool for service questions, but I think you get the point. And now we're gonna be going across to Perplexity. So on the Perplexity website, make sure they actually create an account as well. You'll be able to create a developer account. Just for Perplexity and for the OpenAI account, you actually have to upload some like $5 of credit into the system so you can actually start querying and using it. If you have no money on it, then you're not able to actually run these API calls. So for API reference, I'm gonna click on this, and now I have chat completions. So just like before, this is actually the same information. Basically, it's the same kind of like the same style of information. You always want to find the curl example. The curl example is like the raw HTTP example that you can use to actually fill out those API calls in n8n. And all we're going to do is the exact same thing. So the request type is post. I'm going to copy this URL straight away. Let's go into n8n. So we have post type into the URL. We're going to paste this. So this is actually a little bit different. We don't have like an agent for this. This is just going to go directly and do the web search. So for header, we have authorization, and then we have bearer and token. So that's a slightly different way to actually put the API key. I'm going to show you how it's done anyway. So for name, we're going to put authorization. I'm going to add another parameter. Let's first get all the parameters ready. So we have content type back in n8n. We're pasting it into here. And now we, as before, we're just going to go using the field below. Now for authorization, I'm just going to copy this part here where it says bearer and token. So all this means is that you need to include this word in front of the API key. That's it. So yeah, for now, we're just going to copy this as it is. Makes it easy for us to use. We're going to go into n8n, yep, using the field below. And now we have bearer and token. Let's actually go ahead and get our API key. Okay, so in your account settings, just go across to API. You can generate a new API key, but I've already got one generated here. So I'm just going to be copying this API key. And then back in n8n, I'm just going to go into here. Let's just ultra zoom in, backspace this, paste in the API key. And there is a space between here. There is a bearer, then there's a space, and then there's the actual API key. So zooming out, now we have content type. So what do we have for that? Let's go to application JSON, back in n8n. We're going to go using the field below. Let's paste it into here. And now we're back into our API call. So there's a lot of different settings here, right? But as we know before, the data is actually the body of the API call. So we're copying this. And just so you can see, there is that little quotation mark there. We're not using the quotation mark. It's basically everything else that's contained within that quotation mark. So we're going from here, just so you can see. But anyway, let's get this. Let's copy all of this stuff here. And let's paste it into our n8n. So we are going to be sending a body. Let's go send body. Let's go using the JSON below and paste it in. Now, what we have to do here is we have to change some things. So we have the content. So just like before, we have to put a variable into here, which is a dynamic question. But there's a bunch of different stuff here. The main thing we want to look at is search domain filter, which is this any, and that's where you put your website URL or your support page URL. I want to change this to low because if you have it as high, it's going to basically review more pages, which is good, better information, like a lot more info into the response, but it takes a lot longer as well. So for live chat, I'm just going to set it to low. And there's also some of this stuff here, like response format, search recency filter, string. So we actually have to fill out some of this information as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this. And now over in Claude, I'm just going to say, I have this Perplexity API call body. Please make it work for an also restrict the domain to jewelcard.com and make it low search results so it is fast. Then I'm going to paste it into here, and hopefully that was enough information for this to return the body. So I can just paste it in and it's actually just one and done. But okay, we have how many, yep, we need to change this dynamically ourselves. Jewelcard.com, so that's already inserted, and then we have search context as low. Awesome, that's actually all we need. Let's go back into here. I'm just gonna basically backspace all that. And now let's take this, backspace that, and you guys know what's happening. Web search question. Okay, really cool. Let's take this, Control C it. And now at the very bottom, we're gonna define this placeholder, just like we did before. And we're gonna say the question to ask the web search. And that should be good enough for us as well. So this one is going to be product questions. So let's just zoom into here and let's go product questions, rename. All right, awesome. So that's a new tool. Let's just bring that over here so it looks nice and neat. And within our agent, let's just drop this down. And now our third tool, let's get this going. Let's enter it here. Put this as 3, and we have product questions. Use this tool for product FAQs and product specs questions. And actually, let's also include a note to include URLs in your response. Okay, questions. That's awesome. So now let's test this out. And we have what products does Jewelcar offer? So yeah, you would just take it and you would put your domain into there so that you're getting obviously responses on your own information. But let's see what we get over here. Boom, awesome. So now Jewelcar offers a variety of different products. Here's what they are. Here's an explanation. You can just go directly to here. Gotta go. If you guys are looking for a portable toilet, this is actually extremely popular. So I would definitely recommend this if you do camping. But anyway, so yeah, this is how easy it is, right? You don't have to make a RAG database of all your products. It's just right here. Now, the cool thing is we also have a general support page or a custom support page, which is over here, right? So official Jewelcar support. The domain for this web page is different to the sales page. So all I need to do is actually just, and this is again, where all the technical information in terms of like troubleshooting, and actually we have just technical product information in here as well, but this is the support page. So I'm going to go and copy the URL. It's actually off screen, you can't see it, but I've copied the URL for that page. And now all I'm going to do to make this super easy is I'm going to go and duplicate. And because I've duplicated this, I'm going to change this straight away to, what do we have? Product troubleshooting. Rename this for asking questions about product troubleshooting. Awesome. We have the exact same request as before. So it's post to this endpoint. All of these fields and all that kind of stuff is the exact same. Everything's the exact same. And now all we need to do is go into here and backspace that and paste this in. So that was just the URL of the page we just saw. And that's it. We don't have to change anything else. All the settings are already made. So as you can see, this is like so easy, so fast. And now I'm going to pull a little string from here, attach it to here. And now this is called product troubleshooting. So you already know what's going to be happening now. Let's go back into our agent. And so you can see, right, like you don't have to create the prompt from the start. It's just so easy to create this prompt on the fly. It's extremely easy for testing. You already see what's going on. And then you can just take this and build out the experience for your agent by going into ChatGPT and saying, again, here's the raw prompt. Let's actually now make the experience better, make it ask for this for the send email, make it ask for more questions if they have product troubleshooting requests or whatever. So that's exactly, this is the easiest format that I find for building these kinds of things out. So we have product troubleshooting. We have for and users tool for product troubleshooting questions. Okay, and include this in your response. So that's the final thing we're doing here. Let's just zoom out. And now let's say my hot tap is not working. How do I fix it? So we should just be hitting this. Boom, awesome. Let's look at our response. What are we going to get over here? Check the power source, inspect the water supply. Awesome. And here is, the hot tap manual so you can actually review it. That's insane. That's how easy it is to actually build a RAG database on your own. Not even a RAG database, sorry. Like you literally just don't have to do anything. You just plug in with the API call. And it did take us maybe 3 minutes to set it up as opposed to 3 hours to build a database and scratch your head and figure out how do you do chunk sizing? How do you do all this kind of stuff? Just super easy. Actually extremely easy. And the thing is, you're paying for this and you're paying for this. So either way, you're paying for something. So why don't you just pay for the thing that's easier to set up and get going and maintain? Because whenever you update your website, which is probably, that's what you mainly update, all the information is there. You don't have to scroll around and actually do RAG and update the files and what's old and what's new. Your website's always going to have the live information, right? So yeah, that's super easy. Now we want to figure out how to get this onto our website. And to do that, we're just going to double click back into this chat message received. So we've got the settings already ready, right? We've got this set up so it can be publicly accessible. We can actually make that widget on our website. So we're just going to go and click on to these instructions. Let's click here. And I'm going to be taking this entire instructions in a second to help us actually format our actual widget that's on our website. But for now, we're just copying this installation CDN thing. So yeah, let's just take this again. Let's copy it. And now I've got a replit example of a HTML page. Very, very basic, but this is just to show you how you would plug it into your website. You have these closing body tags. So this is the body, the main section of the website of all the stuff that you see. Before this closing tag, I'm just going to paste that code into here exactly as it is. And all we need to do is take this, your production webhook URL, and go across to our workflow, copy this. So just clicking on it copies it. Go back to our page here and paste that into there. All right, done. So now if I run this, the actual widget should show up and it'll be accessible. But what I need to do is actually just zoom out of this bad boy, turn this on to make it active. So let's go, got it. I'm just gonna, okay, it's already saved when you hit active. And now let's just redeploy this. And now we can actually ask questions to this widget. So let's click it open. All this stuff here is what you can change. So it's always gonna say, hi, my name is Nathan, but we can change all this stuff. Let's just go, hi there. Let's make sure this works. We should get a response like a generic one, cool. What are Julka's open hours? And let's say this should be querying our actual RAG agent, which is gonna get, the open hours of 9 to 5. Let's have a look for that. There we go. And the open hours are this. And we're even getting the actual business FAQ document that we had, that we uploaded into our pinecone agent. So at every question, we ask a RAG question to our pinecone agent. We ask a question to the Perplexity API, to the web search. Everything gives us different information back, like little URLs and hyperlinks that we can actually access and go deeper. So very, very good experience for the customer. Now, I'm just gonna be taking all this information, and let's go back into here. I'm just gonna say, I have deployed the web widget on my HTML page. Here are n8n instructions. I'm just going to paste it into here, just be very lazy with it. And here is my HTML. So let's get that. Just copy this entire thing. And now in here, please make the agent name to Bart and make the theme color blue. Don't change my HTML page, just change the n8n attributes. So actually inside the n8n file, there's information here. So this n8n document, there's information about like how to change some different options for your chat when you deploy it, changing colors, changing the messages that are shown, that first message that's actually shown to users. So there's a different configuration here. You can just upload it like I did directly into the, into the Claude chat window. Let's copy that. Let's paste it back into here directly as it is. Let's hit run. And now let's see what's done for us. So you can actually customize this. You can also take, you can actually point this chat experience to a totally, you can create your own widget that actually looks a lot nicer, has different features and stuff like that. You don't have to use the n8n included one. There you go, start a chat. Bart is here to help you. Hi, I'm Bart, how can I assist you? So you can see it's actually dynamic. You can change, not dynamic, sorry, you can just change this just by plugging it into Claude. So it's super easy. Like this is a very done for you type of experience. Like you could just use the AI to give you, just make the changes for you, or you can now just start changing it yourself. But let's go, hi there. My hot tap is not working. Awesome, and you can see all this stuff is here. So yeah, if you want me to make another video on how to change this actual widget and just make it a bit more personalized, like this widget actually is for free, it's free, right? This is so good that it's free. If you wanted something that looks a little bit more modern or more sleeker, I can look into actually creating a tutorial on how to do that. But for now, this is your actual chatbot deployed on your website. Now, if you're a business owner and you want to deploy a chatbot on your website, you want it to have more functionality, you want me to do this for you, please reach out to me. My email's in the description of this video. I'd love to help out. Or if you actually want to get in part of my AI community where I'm going to be posting information, like all of my builds, my background, like all of the back end of my building. So like watch me build live, like what you're doing here. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, I'm going to be building out a community. It's not ready yet. I've got a waitlist open. I'm going to put the description of that waitlist, sorry, the URL of that waitlist in the description of this video as well. All right, guys, thank you for watching. And yeah, enjoy your new chatbot. See ya.